This segment of the news is brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.
Welcome back. The alleged gunmen behind Richard Fowler's February 12th shooting death were today arraigned before a magistrate. Accused are Stefan Roll and Owen Williams, both of Fox Hill, as was Fowler. But before the particulars of the incident were read out in court, Roll and Williams' attorneys argued that the dockets were incomplete as there were no virtual complainants in the matter. Representing Roll, attorney Beyond Ferguson argued that the dockets only indicated the names of former witnesses like police officers and the coroner. He asks that the names of the accusers be provided as it is a fundamental human right. Mr. Ferguson stressed that if names of witnesses were not provided, the charges could not stand. He also claimed his client had been in custody since last Tuesday and that the police had exhausted the time frame for holding without charging. Deputy Chief Magistrate Shubasola Swain stood down the arraignment until the evidence was provided. However, she returned a short time later and advised that she would proceed with the matter, but cautioned the prosecutors that the names of the witnesses must be provided when the pair return for a voluntary bill of indictment. After reading the charges, attorneys for both men claimed their clients had been abused while in police custody. It's alleged that bags were put over their heads and they were beaten about the body. Both were taken to Princess Margaret Hospital when they complained of pain. However, Williams further alleges that he went to the hospital twice but only saw the doctor on the second visit and that the medication prescribed was not collected at the time of the visit. Williams is represented by Latia Williams. Both men returned to court on April 12th. From the police, a foreigner to see the inside of a magistrate's court real soon. Berry Island police arrested the man on Cocoa Key just before 2 p.m. Sunday after he was found with 9 packages of cocaine. Back here in the capital, intelligence led officers to search the carry-on bag of a couple at the domestic terminal of the Lyndon Pinling International Airport yesterday evening. In it, they found a .32 millimeter pistol. The two are to be charged soon in connection with the crime. The world's largest independent cruise port operator must now put its money, all $250 million of it, where its mouth is and get down to business transforming Nassau's main cruise port into a world-class waterfront destination. In this report, our Leah Cooper tells us how Global Port Holdings proposes to make that happen and within what time frame.
As Global Ports Chairman Mehmet Koopman explains it, customary negotiations and regulatory approvals for Port Nassau's facelift are expected to take 60 to 120 days before the agreement is actually signed. Once negotiations are done, construction will begin within 30 days for some portions of the site and 6 months after proper environmental research and geotechnical studies for the rest of the site. Mr. Koopman says the real task is ensuring the day-to-day business of the port is uninterrupted.
The way we planned the construction, and it's planned already, it's in our proposal. We took the itinerary for the next 24 months, starting beginning of this year, but there's some delay, starting beginning of this year, and we did every step. So when the crane moves, when the reclamation happens, so we have a full and complete construction plan already, which juxtaposes and basically supports the call of the ships. Not a single call, because of the construction period of 24 months, will ever be cancelled or changed or altered. So we're making sure of that there's absolutely no impact on the number of calls or the ships coming to the port.
When questioned on the impact of port charges and passenger facility fees to raise money for the project, Tourism Minister Dionisio de Aguilar says this.
We don't project that there will be a substantial increase in certainly not over the proposal that was put forward by the cruise companies, maybe a $2 or $3 difference on what they suggested. But, you know, the government of the Bahamas wants to ensure that the pricing doesn't go, you know, no one has any control over the, you know, it has an exclusive over the pricing. So it'll be a consultative process where we will consult with the cruise companies, consult and benchmark against other destinations in order to make sure that we always remain reasonable. I mean, we have to understand that the cruise companies are very sensitive to this, and you know, certainly when I was carrying out the studies for this project, I spoke to all of them. I know them all very intimately now. I went to a number of ports, both in the Mediterranean and in the Caribbean, to see what it is they do. But we will ensure that it remains affordable, reasonable, and give them very much advance notice if there are to be increases, but to be benchmarked against other destinations in order to remain competitive.
The port's redevelopment comes as at least 80 to 90 cruise ships are under construction.
If we are to remain wonderfully positioned to take advantage of this growth, we must redevelop, rehabilitate, and even expand the footprint of the cruise port of Nassau, of course, in an environmentally friendly and responsible way.
The $250 million project intends to transform Prince George Wharf into a state-of-the-art port and waterfront destination, managed by Nassau Cruise Port Limited. Under the proposed ownership structure of NCP, Global Ports Holdings will own 49% of the company, while another 29% will be owned by the Bahamas Investment Fund. The remaining 2% will be used to establish the Yes Foundation, a charitable fund intending to support youth, education, and sports programs in the country. The port's reconstruction will also expand its capacity from a maximum of 6 ships to 8. Reporting for Love 97 News, I'm Leah Cooper.
Well, if you were to go by the results of a poll public domain conducted, the vast majority of people support the expansion of national health insurance to provide affordable coverage for high-cost medical care. Like in the case of treatment for prevalent adult cancers, pediatric cancers, heart attack, and dialysis with no copays or deductibles. Public domain puts that figure at 87% of the poll's respondents. 57% believes a combination of government employees and employers should pay for universal health care. This was higher among NHI beneficiaries, of which 65% of responders say a combination of government employees and employers actually should pay. Meantime, in total, 91% of respondents completely agreed, that is 86%, or somewhat agreed at another 5%, with the thinking that the cost of health or medical services without insurance is just too expensive for average Bahamians. There are nearly 50,000 beneficiaries currently enrolled in NHI Bahamas. Health Minister Dr. Dwayne Sands is in Andros, where he and a team are assessing clinics in South Andros and Mangrove Key. The results of those assessments are already in, and it's been determined that the clinic in Camps Bay is in good condition. However, the same cannot be said about the Mangrove Key Clinic, facilities for which the government has been renting for 5 years.
The renovation on the main clinic there is not progressing as well as it ought to. So we needed to make a determination about how we can move forward. And I think that, being able to see it with my technical team in tow made it easier to make the decisions that have to be made.
When asked if sufficient funding is available for the construction of this clinic, the health minister said this.
We have a capital budget, we have a recurrent budget, and so, we're going to have to look at both of those budgets to determine what we're able to accomplish reasonably in this fiscal year and what will have to be bumped into subsequent years.
Dr. Sands could not confirm whether this clinic would be up and running by the end of the current fiscal year. Stay with us for a check on sports and weather.
This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.